post this on YouTube and the video. But hi everyone. Hello. Welcome. Over here today we have the amazing and the great Tobi. Woo! So Tobi is the cutting out a bit. Tobi is the founder of React Native Nigeria, and he has over 8 years of experience, let's say 9 years of experience being a software engineer. He has worked with various companies like Paystack, he has worked with Okra, he has worked with Kinzo, and even Auto Finance. And today, he's with us today to talk about open source contributions, which is a very hot topic, right? So if you have contributed to open source, if you have never contributed to open source, this is the time to get the real gist. Okay. Hi, Tobi. Do you have anything you want to say? Or we get started?
Well, hi, Udupe. Thanks so much for having me on the show. It's really nice to be here. It's nice to talk open source, and I'm looking forward to a very interesting conversation on everything open source.
I'm excited too. So before we get started, what inspired you to start React Native Nigeria? Would you like to share?
In Nigeria, this very definitely in Nigeria we have this word that we say Sapa. I just wanted to get out of that stage in my life of Sapa. But not to be more real.
It's cutting out. Can you turn off your video? Let's see whether that can help.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Your video is cutting out, Sha. Can you turn off your video? Maybe just switch to audio. Maybe it'll help. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just did that. Awesome. Well, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So I think the question you asked was why did I get into React Native? Most people aren't honest enough, but I will be very honest with you. I just wanted to make money, plain and simple. And for me, it was. And for me, like, aside just making money, it was like, what is the language that would get me to making the most money with, the least effort? And by least effort, I don't mean by not putting in the work. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to survive if you don't put in the work in tech. It was more of how can I, be the person that folks could approach and say, oh, Tobi, I want to build a mobile application in iOS, or I want to build a mobile application in Android, and I wouldn't have to learn like the native side to it and to make those apps, right? So it was more of, oh, what could get me there faster? And I tried everything. Believe me, I tried everything. I tried Android. Kotlin was a bit too hard for me at the time. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I tried Swift. I was like, nah. I tried Objective-C. I was like, nah, this is not for me. And I just stumbled upon React Native thanks to a friend while I was still at Payport. He introduced me to it, and I was like, "Ooh, this is very simple. It's just like JavaScript, right? Like, this is something I feel would be very easy to learn." So I built a bit of to-do list apps. I tried building a little bit of all those X and O games apps, and I was like, "Oh, this wasn't so hard, And it just hit me that I think I could make this a career, and I just stuck with React Native from that point on. And I think that was the best decision of my career, to be very honest.
Wow. Did you ever get into a point where, like, maybe you were chasing after jobs, and so your stack kept on changing? You mentioned Kotlin, you mentioned Swift. But were you like, everything I can do?
Trust me.
What was that you said, no, I'm not taking any job in this field. I'm staying with React Native. Did you ever have a situation like that?
Yeah, definitely. So when I started in tech, I started with PHP. Funny enough,
Mm.
when I say this, people like PHP, how do you go from backend to to building mobile applications?
Like
Yeah,
WordPress.
yeah, WordPress too as well. Yeah, so thank you. I started with WordPress, not even PHP. Started with WordPress. Then I went on to do PHP. I went on to do I don't know if you know Laravel. It's
Yeah, I know
also like
that.
yeah, exactly. So it's also like a backend framework. Then I did Lumen. I did a bit of. I just revolved around like PHP frameworks for a very long time, and I
Mm.
was like, I don't think I'm going to be a backend engineer for the rest of my life. I need to spice things up, right? And luckily enough, that was when React Native came about with React. So I was learning both of them at the same time, and I was like, this is pretty easy. What do you mean I just write JavaScript? And I was already doing JavaScript at the time.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's what made me settle for React Native, where I was like, you know what, I'm not learning any other thing. I'm sticking with React Native. It was just the fact that I could build once and deploy everywhere, right? Like
Mm.
the fact that I could, just write one code base
Mm.
and somehow I would just have that code run on both my Android phone and my iOS phone. I felt like that was gold.
Yeah.
Um, and to be fair, when React Native came out, it wasn't the best. I won't lie. They had a whole lot of issues. It wasn't fast enough. It wasn't doing all the things we expected it to do. But as the years kept going by, the team that managed it put in that effort, and it became way way better. And I was like, thank God I stuck with React Native and I didn't move because
Okay.
React Native. And I feel like that was one of the things that made me not move. Like even when I heard those noise, because I had friends at the time, they would come. You have friends that are also learning how to write code at the time, and someone would just come and be like, guys, Flutter is the new deal. Let's go, let's go learn Flutter. I'm like, nope, I'm not joining you guys. I'm sticking with my React Native. And it was just that thing where React Native did the exact thing I wanted it to do. I want to
Mm.
be able to write my code once,
Mm.
and I want it to run everywhere. I don't want to have to learn a new language and to make things happen. And I feel it worked for me because again, before I started working full time, I did a lot of contract work, right? So I would contract for a lot of firms. I would, they would just tell you what they are trying to build and you come in, build it, and you go. So it was that kind of time where I needed to learn a language that would help me be the best person in contracting, right?
Mm.
And also to keep more money to my side. So if I would go contract and and they tell me, "Oh, we're looking for want to build an Android app," mostly we always build an Android app first, and
Mm.
I'll be like, "Okay, I can build it." I would build it and give it to them, and they would say maybe 3 months later we want an iOS app, and just because I couldn't build an iOS app, they would have to hire
That
an
person.
exactly, and it's like I
You're
want that
making my
money.
money.
My money. Like, are you guys joking?
Money.
You're gonna pay someone else this money. No, 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 no. I need to learn something to solve this. So I
Mm.
think React Native was just that thing, right? There was even one weird situation where I started contracting with jobs internationally. I think my first ever international gig with a company in Canada. I think you saw
Mm.
it on my you mentioned them, Inzo.
Yes.
And they were trying to build a iPad app, right? And
Okay.
it was funny that I went to the interview and I got the job, and the team lead was like, "We're building the app with React Native." I'm like, "Ooh, I've never built an iPad app with React Native before. This
Wow.
is gonna be fun." So, it was just that thing where I put in more effort in React Native, and React Native just kept making it easier for me in terms of like opportunities, in terms of like, folks were getting more confident in building apps with React Native. And, if you're a React Native engineer at the time, it was just, you're a hotcake. Like, so I just stuck with, I think that was, these were like the things that made me say, you know what, I don't think I'm going to change. I'm going to be part of that movement that makes React Native, more accessible for people, easier to for folks to understand it, use it
Mm.
themselves, and also get that similar testimony I also had. So I think that's one of the few things that made me stick with React Native.
That's really amazing because at this point in time, people
Ooh.
They're just like anything, any job I can do. And then you now find out that depth becomes more important than breadth, right?
Yeah,
So one thing that's really said that really stuck with me is the fact that you started with contractor roles, right?
yeah,
And then that helped you, and then you now noticed, okay, this is a good niche for me to stay in. Such a good niche that I even started a community for it.
yeah.
And that's impressive. I give you your flowers. Take it.
I take it. I receive it. I receive.
Yeah. Your story is quite inspiring. How you left Sapa and then you when for people who don't know what Sapa is, how you left suffering and then you made money.
Yeah, for the audience, I
That's
don't know what Sapa is.
okay. Now let's go into the open source section.
Okay.
So actually I had a question before that. Have you ever used Flutter?
So I tried it once. I tried it once and I threw it in the bin.
Ooh.
So I literally threw it in the bin. So I had a friend of mine. We also went to the same university. His name is Nelson. I always destroy his surname. So Nelson, if you're listening, don't be angry. Ashimoye. Please correct me if I get the surname wrong, Nelson. Um, but he was all the whole, Flutter is the next thing. Let's learn
Mm,
Flutter. React Native is not as fast as Flutter. And I was like, guy, I'm making money in React Native. What am I gonna, learn Flutter? And I just indulged him and I tried installing Flutter on my laptop, try to see if I could get it to run. And I think just trying to install it was what, you know, made me go, I am never trying this again. Like I am never gonna use Flutter again. Maybe it was just like a bad experience because I tried Flutter like the moment it came out. If I'm being very
mm,
honest, like the moment Flutter came out, he was talking a lot about it, and I said, oh, let's try and see what it's about. But installing it was not nice. Like installing Flutter was not the best, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna use this anymore.
I can definitely relate to you because so I've used React Native and I've used Flutter. React Native was way faster to get started with than Flutter. The
Preach the
only
gospel.
thing, but they both have like similar functionality in sense of you can build on iOS, I can build on
Yes.
Android, and you can also work on web. But I
Yeah.
feel like debugging UI issues with Flutter is a bit tricky.
Hmm.
That's why I prefer. I think I prefer. I'm leaning in more to React Native than Flutter.
Come to the lights. Come to the lights.
Yeah, yeah. React Native is definitely better.
It's a lot easier.
It's easier.
And I feel like to be honest, what makes React Native even much easier for people who are trying to learn or like generally beginners, right? Is the community.
Mm,
The React Native community is superb. Like you could from open source projects that would help you do things in React Native to the number of React Native engineers available to, solve issues for you. I mean, going back as, maybe 10 years ago when AI wasn't a thing, right? You could go to Stack Overflow and ask a question, and I kid you not, you would find, give or take, maybe 10 people that have gone through that issue as well and would let you know, okay, this is how you should go about solving it. I wouldn't want to say that was the same case about Flutter, but but yeah,
yeah,
I know it has grown. It has grown. I wouldn't want to say it's the same case with Flutter because I didn't use Flutter as well as I use React Native, so I wouldn't want to talk bad about it. But
mm,
I would say like the React Native community is one of the best out
yeah.
there. Yeah, it is one of the best.
And thank you for contributing to that community.
Thank
Truly.
you. It's really nice. It's really a great one to be at. It's really helpful. It gets the job done. It's just nice to have that tool in your arsenal. If you are listening, please add React Native to your arsenal. You won't regret it.
Yeah. Wow, you're good at this to know. Okay. So I wanted to ask, how do you find open source projects to contribute to? So for example, a lot of people say, oh, if you're new into your career or if you're trying to get more experience, let's say that you're not working full time right now and you want to keep building experience, you want to learn how to contribute to other software out there. How
Yeah.
do you identify what projects to contribute to? So sometimes you may fix something and then your PR is staring at you. You're staring at your pull requests. working on this? Nobody is giving you comments. How do you know the ones that they won't give you comments? How do you know the ones where they will just leave you on red? And how do you know the ones to actually work on?
Work on? That's a very interesting question. Thanks for that question. For me, I think using my own experience, when I got into open source, I kind of had a mentor. I won't call him a mentor because he didn't even know he was mentoring me. I
Aw.
would I would literally just go online and look at. You probably might have heard of him, Prosper Oteniwa,
Mm,
and he was very big on open source, and I would just literally spend hours going through his GitHub repo, kind of understanding how does he do things, like how does he, set up the readme on the repository, how does he, review people's projects, what tools does he use to automate a lot of the work. I literally was on his repository. I learned how to even do like GitHub actions to like
oh,
review codes before he would go and review them, right?
mm,
So he didn't know. I'm probably sure he didn't know he was, teaching me by what he was doing. But I would
mm,
spend a lot of time just looking at his repository and like trying to understand why he did things the way he did. So I would
mm,
say that was the first thing for me. I kind of got a mentor or an unofficial mentor. So
mm,
if you're out there and you're trying to get into open source, I would say maybe try find someone that you can, imitate. This person is good at what they are doing. Try and like learn. You literally don't even need to have that conversation with them and say, "Hi, can you be my mentor?" Right? They are mentoring you by what they are doing. You don't just know it.
mm,
So, go to their work, look at what they are doing, try and understand those repositories they talk to, they use, and try and make a difference there. Right?
mm,
It might not be in your own language, but I'm very sure. Like example, payments. Right?
mm,
If for instance you're out there looking like, oh, Toby has done React Native Paystack WebView, like he's already done Paystack for React
mm.
Native. You might be a Python developer. Why don't you make Python Paystack, right?
A very good point. So I actually never thought of that because I'm also very interested in payment software.
Yeah, right.
I've been
So why
so I think that's a very good project. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So like you could try it out. Like you could copy people's work and kind of make it for a new language, right?
Mm,
And I feel that would be very helpful. The second thing is you don't have to wait to find a project to contribute.
mm,
You can be a contributor on your own. Like you could be someone that advocates for open source by open sourcing a lot of the work you already do. And I'll give you an example. So prior to open sourcing React Native Paystack WebView,
mhm,
um, I was on a project, or I was working on a project that required me to integrate Paystack,
mm,
and this was meant to be my one week sprint task, right? And it was crazy because at the time, the only SDK for React Native, I mean, React Native was pretty new, right? So
yeah,
the only SDK for React Native at the time was from this guy called Tolu's Paystack, right? And Tolu's Paystack, or is it Tolu React Native Paystack? I can't remember, but I know it was a guy called Tolu that built that project.
mm,
And his project had a lot of issues, right? Like installing Paystack for React Native, he wrote like a native wrapper with Objective C. He
mm,
wrote the Kotlin wrapper for React Native. He then exposed it to React Native for folks to use. But the issue with his project was it was very complicated in the sense that a lot of people using React Native at the time didn't know how native code works. So let's say you had an issue, it will be like, but I don't write Kotlin, I write React Native. It's like, so you can't fix the bug, right? You have to wait for Tolu to fix it. And Tolu is a busy man. Like, obviously, he has a full time job. Maybe
yeah,
he's married. I don't know. And maybe even if you fix the project, the issue on his repository, before he would even merge it or make a new, release on NPM, it would take a long time.
mm.
So and 1 week went by, I had not solved or integrated payments in the project. and
Wonder
I
program.
and my manager came on the next week and was like, Toby, updates. And I'm like, that tax is not yet done. I'm still working on it. And it started becoming a problem, right? Like,
Mm,
we need payments in the project because we need to move. Like, we can't ship without payments. So I
yeah,
thought to myself, what can I do that would not require me to, use Tolu's package?
mm,
And solve my problem within a week because now I'm fighting for my job.
Yeah, just be fired because
I'm
of react.
also tired. I need to sort this out quick, right? So I was like, okay, what can I do? So I started thinking, brainstorming, which one now led me to Paystack had this thing called Paystack Inline JS. And
Mm,
it was interesting to me that Paystack Inline JS was just a web, just a JavaScript code that would load Paystack's SDK on a web browser. And I was like, wait, what is happening here? We're just loading a web browser and Paystack is working inside that. I'm like,
mm.
okay, this is interesting. React Native, yeah, sure.
Would it take the user to like an external website and then they pay on
No,
that website, or is it in app?
so yeah, it was like if you, let's say you open inline JS and you run it, it's basically a HTML code. You would write it
Oh,
in a HTML code and you could load that in any web browser. That was
oh, that's
basically
very
what was going on. Yeah, so but Paystack called the package Paystack Inline. So
oh,
Paystack Inline was just like they wrote like a JavaScript code that you could, if you want to implement Paystack, you would take that JavaScript code and add it to your code, and you put your own secret key, public key, and it will just work, right?
mm,
In any you could, it's just a HTML code, like just put it in your HTML code and it will work. And I was like, "So this is how websites accept payments. If this is how website accept payments, we have something called WebView in React Native,
oh, yeah. Why
right?
don't they? Yeah,
Why don't you call that, right? Why don't just call the inline in the web view and do the exact same thing on mobile, right? Why
yeah.
am I having to write a wrapper with Kotlin and iOS? Like I would just load the inline JS
Hmm.
in my React Native code using WebView. And
Yeah.
so this was like Eureka moment on like 3 a.m. in the night. I'm like, wow. And so I tried it and it worked. I was like, what just happened? So I was like, okay, let's not jinx it. Let's not jinx it. So I started doing more research on, okay, if the web view can load Paystack, how do I send the response back to the native? Right?
Mm,
Like how do I tell the web view that, oh, it was successful, it was an error? Then it led
mm,
me to realize that there's something called post message where you could communicate from the web browser to the native, to React Native, and you
mm.
could, it goes both ways. You could also communicate from React Native to the web browser using post message. It's
Wow.
just an API that is available when you use WebView in React Native. So I tried it and it worked, and I was able to do like a two-way communication from the web browser to the React Native, and from React Native to the web browser. And I was like, it is finished. I just wrote the code and it worked. I first, made a PR, pushed it. My
Mm,
manager was okay because payment was not working.
yeah.
And like before they could ship the code, I immediately made a an npm package. I bundled, kind of cleaned the code up, made it
Mm,
more open sourcey, right? And that was how React Native Paystack WebView was born.
wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so and I just open sourced it, and it was crazy because a lot of folks started using it in just like the first week of launch, and I was like, oh, there's something here. And I did open sourced it, more folks started using it,
Mm,
and I was like, this is pretty cool. I think there's something here. And that's how we got that package out there. So I would
wow.
say, like, I didn't wait for folks to tell me where can I contribute. Like, that was a very good project, and I'm sure a lot of people out there also have really, really good projects. You can open source your project.
Mm,
You
wow.
definitely you definitely can open source your project.
Wow. That's very inspiring. You were not looking for, oh, who will allow me to contribute. You literally got your own. You saw a problem, you took initiative, and you fixed it.
And
Now
you
people
fix
don't
it.
Tolu to
It will not
just
look for to you.
yeah, can just work on their project themselves. That's incredible. That's very, very
Yeah.
incredible.
So you
So
you definitely can.
wow, it's something okay. I'm seeing what's more important, right? I like the initiative you took, right?
Mm.
That shows the mindset of contributing, not just consuming, which is really
Consuming.
nice.
Thank you very much. It's very interesting funny enough, because this was, I think, 10 years after open sourcing React Native Paystack WebView.
Mm.
Paystack finally endorsed it, right? So
Oh.
I've been working on, with, as a community, other people also contributed, but we've
Mm,
been improving React Native Paystack WebView since it got open sourced, and it took 10 years for Paystack to notice it and be like, "I like what you guys are doing. Can we add this to our official documentation?" So right now, Paystack, that WebView is on Paystack's website as one of the options to integrate Paystack with React Native. They did send some merch to appreciate the work, and it's just interesting, like, it took 10 years for that to happen.
that
And it's
whole,
very, yeah, 10 whole years. 10 whole years. And it's just interesting because now that project literally has about 2,178 downloads weekly on NPM. Yeah, so
wow.
it's really nice. Just start. You really never know where your project is going to take you. You just need to start, maintain it, keep improving it, and you learn a lot from it, because best believe open source is that place where folks are going to test you. They're going to keep coming to you with their problems and they're going to
Mm.
expect you to solve it. So, just be ready for that. Just be ready for that. Um I think one last thing I wanted to say about that question you asked regarding how can folks find where they can open source or contribute to open source.
Mhm,
I would say with the current projects you use, right? So let's say you use React Native, for instance, right? And you use maybe Expo Router for navigation,
mm,
right? Could literally contribute to Expo Router, right? You could look for packages in your npm folder. So if you're looking
mm,
for what packages do I use in my project, just go to your package.json folder, and under dependencies, right, there's a whole, it's listed right there. You could pick any one of them, go to the GitHub repository for those projects, go to issues. I'm
mm.
100% sure you will find more than enough issues that people keep reporting on a daily basis, right? A
Right.
lot.
I'm trying to see if I can find it so we could show people.
I'm sure. I'm sure we could. I'm definitely sure. You could use Expo Router. I'm sure that's a good one. You could just even pick any random project
So I
or
was
package.
recently trying to use Solito. Let me
Okay.
see. Let's see if they have any issues right now. I think
I'm
this
sure
is the
they should.
updated, but
Yeah.
they have
So
18
they have
issues.
18 issues exactly.
Go in here and check what can we use to fix it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No,
Do
no
you want
problem.
thank you. Like you have mentioned so many things that I didn't even mention. And like you have shared so much knowledge. I can see the depths in your understanding, which is incredible.
Uh, your words are too kind. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But yeah, lots of ways to contribute, loads of ways to contribute, and I feel like we need open source engineers now more than ever. With
Mm,
the age of AI, and everyone is just going the whole AI route. Where you have a problem, and it's more like I'm just going to talk to Claude to fix it, right?
mhm.
I remember maybe like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, folks would have issues, and after they solve that problem, they're trying to, maybe write a wiki about how they solved it, or a
Yeah.
blog, or an open source project, so that folks that have that issue don't have it again. Right now, everyone just, lays back to AI and like, oh, yeah, okay, Claude, bring it to action and get it done.
I feel like before we're going to show like an open source project, right? Toby is going to do a show like a presentation for us. But I feel like even that alone, I think is a problem sometimes. Like Claude
Hmm.
is a blessing, AI is a blessing, right? Because it makes things way easier. But I feel like sometimes it makes it harder to learn. Like if you
Mm,
like see you now, you had to first find out that okay, this is not working, let
mm,
me create a wrapper. No, the way they do it is that they create a wrapper and they allow it to work in for Paystack, right? But that's only in
yeah,
Kotlin. So you notice the problem. Then he said, I cannot continue like this because I'm using React Native. So you now understood all the steps, like the post message, all those things. But with Claude, it just like starts generating and starts
yeah.
editing, starts fixing. So that deeper knowledge sometimes makes it harder to get it.
True.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I totally get you. I feel we're in a crazy time, like, because AI is just making everyone lazy, right? Like we don't want to figure out the why behind why things happen. We just let me get it done fast. Let my manager kind of see that I'm closing 100 tickets in a week, right? It's more about, let me just get it over with and on to the next thing, and rather more of how do I understand why this thing works the way they do, right? I feel it's very bad in a way, and we now have to train ourselves not to use AI sometimes right now, and it's even hard because when you're working in an office space and your coworker is solving tickets maybe 10 a week, and you're still trying to you're still trying to figure out how am I going to get this one thing done.
That literally
We're like,
happened to me. Like the first time that AI was coming crazy, I was trying to understand. Okay, this is because it was a front end tax, right?
uh-huh,
I was trying to understand. I had the UI already designed, so I was trying
yeah,
to fix everything and incorporate it. This one just came and vibe coded the whole thing. And it's not that it was like it was functional, but I knew that okay, this thing is going to break because of some certain reasons. But
exactly.
to the startup founders, they're like, no, we have to go fast, fast.
Fast. Have to go fast. I mean, we just I feel developers now have like more work to do because we now have to be that, oh, should I use AI at work, then in my spare time kind of understand what is
What's
happening
going
under the hood. Like we have much more work to get done. And I'm just happy I joined tech at the time when AI wasn't 18, if I'm being very honest. Like, I'm
on?
just
Not
very happy. Yeah, Lord will help us all. Oh. Lord will help us all because right now it's very crazy, and we have much work to do. Just to make sure we really understand the why. Like we understand not just the why, like we understand the basics, right? People
mm,
aren't spending time to understand the basics anymore. They are not finding out time to understand. Get that eureka moment of I figured it out on my own and got to this place. It's like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I don't have that time, right? So we have much more to do as engineers right now. Like we have a lot to do. We really have a lot.
exactly. We'll still prevail. We'll still get there. So,
We'll
can
get
you
there.
share? Can you show us like a live demo on how you go about contributing to open source on the web?
Open source on the web. So, I was thinking about this,
Okay,
prior to this call, and I was like, what am I going to demo? Like, what am I going to demo? And
like a
I
previous
feel,
one.
I
Mm,
feel maybe, sorry?
it can be a previous one that you have done, maybe a previous
Okay.
contribution, and just like
Okay.
walk us through some of the things that you did to make sure that at least the reviewer knows what you're doing, and
Uh-huh.
that okay, this is safe to approve, right?
Hmm. Okay.
What the problem was, how you tested it out, and how you made sure that things didn't break after you fixed it. Fine. Or you can
Okay.
talk about how you even knew how to use the code base, because sometimes all these code bases are very overwhelming when you see it the first time too.
True, 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 true. I'm trying to think if I should use a big code base or a small one that I've worked on before. Let's see. Maybe we can use React Native, one from React Native Nigeria community, because it has most of the basic stuff. And okay, so let me share my screen. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So we recently, just for context, we recently open sourced React Native Nigeria website,
Wow.
and I think that happened last week. And so we've been using that website to like share a lot of knowledge on the things happening within the React Native Nigeria community from blogs. Just let me know when you see my screen.
Okay. Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. All right. I think so we use this a lot to share. So we use this website a lot to share things happening within the React Native Nigeria community, right? From newsletters to what we're about to articles we write about on Medium, so folks
Mm,
can read about what we talk about in the community or specific topics We share like most of the talks and conferences we've done. We also do a lot of open source in the community. So, if you're looking for what to contribute to and you're watching, there's a lot on our GitHub repo. And we basically just use this website to, like I said, share all the knowledge and have it in one place.
Mm.
So we recently open sourced it and we have this GitHub repo that manages it all. So it's called
Can
React
you
Native.
put your font a bit? Maybe Control Plus.
Oh yeah, sure.
Thank you.
No problem. Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so we use this is the repository, and we have a lot of things happening on this repository, from CI checks, right, to make sure that whatever you are building on this website actually does work, right? You're
Mm.
not kind of making a mistake, and we're not going to submit that mistake. So I could go through a bit of the pull request that we have here, and we closed prior to now. We even have some that are open, but we could use this as example. So existing, this one was kind of convert all four language translation.
Is it like
And
for Yoruba?
yeah. So it's like convert the language translation file from GS to TS. So on the website, yeah. So on the website, we have folks writing some JavaScript code, and we don't want to write JavaScript. We want them to be writing TypeScript, right?
Mm.
TypeScript is easier to catch errors, right?
Yeah.
So,
You don't have any type errors that will freeze your page. You don't have
exactly. It's like, what's going on? I don't know. So we're tired of that happening, and we really just wanted that conversion to work. And when some of the things that we do with React Nigeria website is, sorry, the open source repository is, when you want to create a pull request, a lot of these things, this write up that you see here, like description, Jira tickets,
yeah.
it's automated, right? We call them pull request templates,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And we kind of use them to kind of manage or have a standard for how people submit pull requests, because observe that from time to time when people open pull requests, we're like wondering, what is this pull request doing? Or some of them don't even give us like a good description of what they are trying to solve. So having this pull request template kind of helped us a lot, because folks understood the standard we're looking for. So once you open your pull request, it's like, oh, I need to put a description, I need to put a Jira ticket. And it's very easy to add pull request templates. If you go to the main code, let me see. I'll show you here. You go to the main code and you go to like the .github folder, and you go to like pull request. This is the file that basically has the template configuration,
Oh.
right? So you can see this is the template.
So for you
And
guys, are using Jira tickets, not issues.
yeah, we're using Jira ticket, but we're going to switch it to issues. Because prior to this, there was a company managing this website. So they were using Jira tickets to make the tickets for the developers to work on it. But since we open source the project, we have to change. Yeah, this is very nice. So this is very good. I'm gonna make our first issue. I think you should make the first issue.
Oh,
So the
really?
credit, so the credit goes to you. So if you go to the website and you go to issues,
Okay.
right?
Let me see. React Native Nigeria GitHub. Can you put the link for okay, I think I already saw it. Wow, it's popular.
That's good to know. Maybe I stop sharing. Let me see what you're seeing.
Oh, okay, let me share my own screen. Share screen. If my screen ever stops sharing, sometimes my computer has memory issues. So let's see. So once you join the community, click here to get started.
So if you scroll down, we have the website pinned. Ooh,
This one?
stop sharing.
Oh, stop
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah,
Sorry. It's because of the space issue. But let's see. So it's this one, right? React Native Nigeria website.
yeah, that one.
Okay.
So this is the repository. If you go to issues, yeah, so you can create a new issue,
New issue.
and you can basically just say update PR templates.
PR templates to be issues instead of Jira.
Exactly, as simple as that.
Okay. Instead of Jira.
Yeah, you can just very simple. A very simple description is fine.
Create.
You can even copy the title and put in the description if you
Oh yeah,
want.
just so it will look nice.
Yeah, just so it will look.
Okay. Change PR temp. Change PR template to be called issues to avoid confusion. I should say like that. Confusion. Thank you.
Nice. So I mean, and you just like that, in case you are not aware, you just literally contributed to open source.
Oh wow, that's
If you could-
incredible.
yeah, it's
No.
that I feel that's something we didn't talk about, right, like you don't have to write code to contribute to open source. Like you could also be a QA person that goes around looking for errors, and you found bugs for those errors, right? By doing that, you are a contributor, whether you like it or not, right? So yeah, this literally makes you a contributor as well to this project. And if you want to if you want to go ahead and fix that, but maybe I will just do that. I think this is an easy one if you don't
It
mind
is
doing
actually, it's just from the.
just from
It's
the
from,
PR.
I think I can even.
Yeah, you can do it.
I can just type. I don't have to clone the entire file, right? I just have to
Now
say.
you can just edit that file. You can do it on GitHub. I'll show you. Maybe share your screen.
Oh, okay. Let me share my screen. I've actually started it.
You actually started contributing to open source.
But this is fun, right?
Yeah.
So instead of Jira tickets, I'll
Nice.
just
You already went there. So instead of Jira ticket, you're gonna change that to issues.
issues URL.
Exactly. Issues URL. You have multiple I think is
Oh, thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Issues URL include link to the relevant issue for this tag/feature. So
Nice. So you're gonna commit changes, but chill.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's gonna. Yeah. You can put the details.
Okay, let me add the link to. Oh no, I'll add it when
Yeah. When you've created it, so just put some extended description. Maybe. Yeah.
updated
Okay.
Jira to issues. Okay.
Nice. And you could propose changes.
Did I
And
misspell?
create a PR for you. I mean, you could always still change it. It doesn't matter. So you could create a pull request.
Then I'm going to give it issues.
Yeah.
Issues.
Issues.
Okay, the description.
Yeah.
Updated text. And I'll put a URL to the issue I created, right?
Yeah. If you want to. I think you could even do star. So if you do hash, if you do a
Hash.
yeah. So if you look for the name one, you can see it's the first one, 108. Yeah, that will link it. You don't need to do any other thing.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Updated text to be updated Jira text to be issues. Issues. Actually, I've already done that.
Yeah, you just copy it there. Nice. And you after that you just commit it, create pull request, and that's as easy as that. You've made your first contributions to.
I'm failing.
So it's going to fail, and it's failing because it's going to fail. So it's failing because you don't have access to Vessel. So you aren't the one that hosted the project on Vessel.
Yeah.
It's going to fail for you, but that's not a problem. That you shouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
But yeah, this is your first contribution to a GitHub repository. So it's as simple as that, right? Go out there, go out there, look for the project that already exists. They don't have to be huge, they don't have to be big. They can be big if you want them to. Just go there, study the code, look for the like minor things, ask questions, like how we just did here. You ask the question, why is it Jira? And I'm like, oh, we don't use Jira anymore. It's open source. It should be issues. Right? Just ask questions, and go out there and make those pull requests. And I'm 100% sure someone is going to fix it. I'm going to go ahead and approve your project for you right now because that's a very small one. It shouldn't take so long. Yeah, so I'll approve this PR.
Thank you so much. Oh, but this is amazing because fun fact, like one job that I was applying for, one reason why they would consider me was because I was contributing to documentation for like Gatsby, Gatsby, Bytes, a lot of like
Ooh,
React. I was putting the documentation for flight control on it,
ooh,
and they're like,
nice.
"Oh, that's amazing." Although I think companies prioritize like harder things, like what you did now.
I feel like companies just want to see that you are doing things, right? Like I feel in this time and age, you just want to be sure that you are technical enough to I don't have to supervise you. So if you are
Mm,
that kind of person that is always taking initiative, go ahead and fix things, go ahead, don't wait for anyone to let you know why it should work. Just like I mean, like you said, you manage a lot of all this Gatsby,
mm,
you mentioned Next.js. Like no one kind of told you, "Yeah, go and do it." Like you just on your own woke up one morning and
and just did it. It was
I'm
a job.
doing it.
Let me not.
Points for honesty. Points for honesty.
But yeah, this has been so enlightening, and I enjoyed myself sincerely.
No, I'm
Um,
happy.
this was nice. I like the fact that I was able to show people, right? Yeah, that
Yeah,
was good. Thank you. But
no
this
problem.
was amazing. Do you have one last thing to share to anybody? Maybe someone that as is at that stage that we were in, like in Sapa, who is trying to be part of Sapa using tech.
I would say don't give up.
Mm,
It's tech, and tech is I most people will say is the easiest thing with AI, but I'm going to tell you it's even more harder now with AI. You have to get your head in the game. Kind of block out the noise because it's also that field where a lot of people are going to be giving you 1,001 advice on how to make it in tech, right? Like
mm,
just know what you are trying to get out of tech. Be focused in that one thing you are doing, not today Python, tomorrow React Native, next tomorrow, try being that
I
expert in
accept it.
your so like try being that expert in your domain, right? Like try focusing on that one thing. Once you are a domain expert in JavaScript, you could leave JavaScript and add something to your arsenal. I'm also that kind of person. I
Mm,
learned React Native so well that
mm,
I was like, you know what, I can't just be writing React Native again. I need to understand what is going on under the hood. So I went to learn Kotlin and Swift, right? So now I write Kotlin and Swift. But when I started, yeah. But when I started, I wasn't doing any of that. I didn't even know what Kotlin or how Swift or Kotlin works. I didn't want to look at Xcode. I'll close my eye to Xcode. It was very confusing, right? But right now I've gotten to that stage where I've learned one thing, I've understood it so well. You could wake me up by 2 a.m. in the night and ask me, Toby, how do you do navigation in React Native? I'll just bring the laptop out. Even with my eyes closed, I can do it, right? So
wow.
you grow, you grow to that level of domain expert where you've understood it so well that you can go and
Mm,
pick up something else. And very important, try not to give up. It's a
mm.
very, very hard field. It's not easy for a reason. If it was easy, everybody would be in tech.
But it feels like everybody is getting into tech now
I
because
know,
there's
right?
a of everywhere you talk.
Well, I mean, everyone is actually getting into tech, everyone to be
Mm,
fair, but don't give up, understand the basics. I always say this, understand the basics. Like don't just AI a lot of things. Like try to understand how does this thing work? Why does it work this way? Can I do it without AI sometimes? Like understand the basics because those are the things that would, um single you out from the crowd, right?
mm,
Like a lot of the times those are the things that will single you out of the crowd. Like if you're having a conversation and it's technical and you have to talk to Claude to explain it, there's a problem, right? Like very simple things. How does CI/CD works? How do I set up CI/CD pipeline? Like there are basics of tech that you should know, like firsthand. What is JavaScript? What is the full meaning of some terms? Like try and get those things down because it's just like you being a doctor and or let's say you are a patient and you go to a doctor in the hospital and you ask the doctor, how am I going to cure my heart? And the doctor is saying, just give me 1 minute. Let me quickly chat with Claude. Like there's a problem.
okay,
There's
yes,
a
yeah.
problem. I'm sure you will have that doctor, operating on your on your heart, right?
I'm
So,
be scared.
try
Not to die, please.
so understand those basics is very important. Spend time on the actual basics and don't give up. Do not give up. It's a matter of time. and you get to that point that you want to at the end of the day. So please do not give up. Do not give up. Yeah, I think that's all the advice I would want to give. I would want to give.
Thank you. Thank you. And we have a smiley face from someone in the chat. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. So everyone, when you finally watch this video, probably after a while, say thank you to Tobi and go and check out React Native Nigeria community. And yes, thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And